Steelers Nation, before we jump into this one, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. This team keeps working to improve every single week, searching for ways to sharpen the edges and chase greatness. And today, we've got to talk about something that's been heating up fast, the trade rumors surrounding tight end Pat Freiermuth. Let's break down why the Steelers should absolutely not trade him, and why he might just be one of the quiet keys to keeping this offense on track. Every year, as we get closer to the NFL trade deadline, this season it's November 4th, the rumor mill starts spinning out of control. And this time, one of the most surprising names being floated around is Pat Freiermuth. Some analysts have been suggesting that Pittsburgh should use him as a bargaining chip, claiming his numbers are down and that the team could trade him for a wide receiver or draft capital. But when you actually look at what's happening inside this offense, it becomes clear that trading Freiermuth would be a massive mistake. Let's start with what's working, Arthur Smith's offensive identity. The Steelers have leaned heavily into 13 personnel, and it's paying off. For those who might not know, 13 personnel means you've got one running back, one wide receiver, and 3 tight ends on the field. It's a package that screams run, but actually gives the offense incredible flexibility. More blockers for play action, mismatches against linebackers, and quick reads for Aaron Rodgers. When the Steelers ran this setup against the Cincinnati Bengals, it was nearly unstoppable. Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, and Freiermuth all rotated through those formations. And guess what? The offense exploded for 4 touchdowns, all by tight ends. That's not a coincidence. That's a system working perfectly. So why in the world would Pittsburgh mess with something that's clearly thriving? Sure, flashy new names get fans talking, but this team doesn't need another wide receiver right now. In fact, forcing one into the offense could throw off what's finally clicking. Arthur Smith's scheme has found balance. DK Metcalf has emerged as the clear wide receiver 1, and Rodgers is distributing the ball to everyone. Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, and Scotty Miller have all been involved in different ways. No one's complaining about touches, which is something we couldn't say in previous seasons. Think back to the George Pickens saga. Every week it felt like a new controversy about who wasn't getting the ball. This year, silence, harmony. Everyone's buying in. Trading Freiermuth to chase another receiver could undo that chemistry. The Steelers don't need to fix what's not broken. Aaron Rodgers has built his Hall of Fame career around trusting tight ends, and this year in Pittsburgh, he's surrounded by a group that gives him every reason to keep doing that. In the Bengals game, Rodgers threw passes to 4 different tight ends, 3 receivers, and 2 running backs. That's balance. That's what veteran quarterbacks love. NFL Next Gen stats show how Rodgers has adjusted his approach. Fewer risky deep throws, more high success passes across the middle. Freiermuth fits that profile perfectly. His ability to find soft zones, make tough catches, and provide security on key downs makes him a natural extension of Rodgers' offensive rhythm. Then came Week 7, the game Pat Freiermuth had been waiting for. He caught 5 passes for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's his first multi-touchdown game since 2021, and he did it while splitting time with Washington, Jonnu Smith, and Connor Hayward. That's the beauty of this offense. It doesn't require anyone to dominate snap counts. It rewards execution. And Freiermuth executed at a high level. You don't trade that away. You build around it. Freiermuth isn't just a target. He's a leader. He's one of the longest tenured offensive players on this roster and a bridge between the young guys and the veterans like Rodgers. Trading him would strip the locker room of a key voice and the offense of one of its most versatile weapons. Remember, Pittsburgh extended his contract in 2024 for a reason. They believe in him long term. When you have a tight end who understands the system, blocks well, catches everything near him, and doesn't demand attention or headlines, you don't trade him, you hold on to him. If this offense continues to thrive in multi-tight end formations, Freiermuth's production is only going to rise. His extension will look smarter by the week. Before we wrap up, there's also some tough injury news from Coach Mike Tomlin's Tuesday presser. Special teams captain Miles Killebrew will miss the rest of the 2025 season after undergoing successful knee surgery. He went down during the Week 6 matchup against the Cleveland Browns and had to be carted off the field. That's a huge loss for Pittsburgh's special teams unit. Killebrew has been with the team since 2021 and was one of the emotional leaders on and off the field. His best season came in 2023 with 26 tackles, and through 5 games this year, he had already added 5 more. Before joining the Steelers, he spent 5 seasons with the Detroit Lions after being drafted in the 4th round back in 2016. Across 152 career games, he's compiled 166 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. He's the kind of player every locker room needs, and his absence will be felt deeply. Now all eyes turn to Sunday night, Steelers versus Packers. Aaron Rodgers facing his former team under the lights on NBC. Kickoff at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. You can bet this one's going to have emotion, energy, and maybe even a little revenge storyline brewing. For Pittsburgh, this is a chance to bounce back from that heartbreaking 33-31 loss to Cincinnati. The offense looked sharp, but the defense faltered late. If they can clean that up, a 5-1 start was within reach and could still be in the cards moving forward. The offense hasn't been the issue this season. It's actually been the bright spot. Aaron Rodgers has come in and stabilized the unit. DK Metcalf has looked sharp, Pat Freiermuth has been productive, and Arthur Smith's system has given Pittsburgh something it had for years: identity and rhythm. But the defense, that's where the problems lie. Through 6 games, the Steelers have given up far too many big plays, including a brutal 470-yard performance against the Bengals last Thursday. For a defense that was supposed to be elite, with T.J. Watt, Jalen Ramsey, and a revamped secondary, that's just not good enough. Still, even with those defensive issues, the conversation around the league isn't about fixing the defense right now. It's about doubling down on offense. Former Steelers cornerback Bryant McFadden went on CBS Sports HQ this week and made a powerful statement. He said that the Steelers' best chance to become legitimate Super Bowl contenders isn't patching up the defense. It's giving Aaron Rodgers another elite weapon. If you look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing right now without major playmakers at the wide receiver unit, you add Chris Olave with the tight end production they've been getting, along with what DK Metcalf has been doing, along with Calvin Austin, they could be major players in January football, McFadden said.
That's a huge endorsement for Olave. The Saints receiver is one of the best young talents in the NFL. Fast, crisp in his routes, and reliable with the ball in his hands. Pairing him with Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and a loaded tight end room featuring Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington could turn Pittsburgh into one of the most balanced offenses in the entire league. Think about it. Rodgers thrives when he has precise route runners who can separate quickly. Guys who can anticipate timing routes and trust his placement. That's Chris Olave in a nutshell. He's been the one bright spot in a struggling New Orleans offense, and at just 25 years old, his prime years is still ahead. Add him to this Pittsburgh group, and suddenly, Rodgers has the kind of arsenal he had back in his Green Bay MVP days. Arthur Smith's system already leans on quick reads and layered routes that put defenders in conflict. Imagine a formation with DK Metcalf drawing double coverage deep, Freiermuth working the seams, and Olave slicing through zone coverage underneath. That's nightmare fuel for opposing defenses. And if you're worried about targets being spread too thin, don't be. Rodgers has already shown this season that he can distribute the ball efficiently. In the Bengals game, he completed passes to 9 different players. Adding a talent like Olave wouldn't disrupt that. It would make it deadlier. McFadden hit another key point in his CBS interview: the Steelers' postseason scoring drought. He said, "When you look at the Big Red Machine and playoff time, you better have guys that can score points. And the Big Red Machine is the Kansas City Chiefs. Did you not see what their playmakers did yesterday with a full arsenal of pass catchers? If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, the issue for them has been the inability to score points in playoff time. He's absolutely right. It's been nearly a decade since the Steelers last won a playoff game. The last postseason victory was way back in the 2016 season, when Ben Roethlisberger was still slinging passes to Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell was breaking tackles left and right. Since then, nothing. And in each of those playoff exits, the story has been the same. Pittsburgh couldn't put enough points on the board when it mattered most. Olave could change that narrative. He's not just a speed guy, he's a complete receiver. Route precision, ball tracking, and yards after catch ability make him one of the few young players who could instantly elevate a team from good to dangerous. Let's be honest. The clock is ticking for both Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan. Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. The fan base is getting restless, and while his consistency and leadership are never questioned, results in January are what truly define legacies. For Khan, this is another opportunity to prove he's willing to go all in. Since becoming general manager, he's made several bold moves, trading for Jalen Ramsey, restructuring T.J. Watt's deal, and signing veterans to plug roster holes. But now comes the defining test. Can he land a true offensive difference maker before the November 4th trade deadline? According to reports, the Steelers are expected to be very active leading up to that date. Khan has been on the phone exploring potential deals. And while acquiring Olave would be expensive, likely a first-round pick and change, it's the kind of aggressive swing that signals the franchise is ready to contend. With Rodgers playing efficient, smart football and the offense showing life, the Steelers are in a position to make a push. But with the AFC loaded, from Kansas City and Buffalo to Baltimore and Miami, standing pat might not be enough. Adding Olave gives Rodgers the type of elite weapon that can win shootouts. It also gives the team flexibility if an injury hits down the stretch. And for a franchise starving for playoff success, the timing couldn't be more perfect to make a statement. So here's the bottom line, Steelers Nation. Trading Pat Freiermuth right now makes 0 sense. He's producing when called upon. He's thriving in Arthur Smith's tight end heavy offense. He's a trusted target for Aaron Rodgers. And he's part of the identity that's finally bringing consistency back to this offense. This isn't the time to chase headlines or quick fixes. This is the time to roll with what's working. And Freiermuth is a big part of that formula. But I want to hear from you, Steelers fans. Do you agree? Should the team stay the course and keep Freiermuth locked in as part of this offensive core? Or do you think there's a case for shaking things up before the trade deadline? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking update. Let's keep building this community, one honest conversation at a time. Go Steelers!